Hey everyone, while looking for a new office monitor for my wife, I came across this LG UltraWide monitor. However, I didn't find a lot of information about it online. Her current setup at her desk currently has two computers, a work computer and personal computer, using three flat panel monitors connected to a KVM, but three monitors to two computers on a KVM just doesn't work right. The laptop on the back wall and the Mac mounted under this desk are the two computers connected via HDMI, but the Mac can't physically be connected while the laptop is. Unless, of course, it gets a dedicated separate monitor. And that's not going to work. Also, the volume of cables required to accomplish this, being power and HDMI and KVM, leaves a lot to be desired. So we're going to find out in short order if a single large widescreen monitor will do the job. We'll go through the separate models and their specifications and price. Let's get started. Looking at the model we got for office work, it's the WY series at $999. It's a 60 Hz refresh. For another $100 at around $1,099, you could get one that has an upgraded sound system. It also says it has an ambient light sensor, but I believe the base model also has an ambient light sensor. This is also 60 Hz, good for using it as a television. The top tier model has 144 Hz refresh rate, and this would be ideal for a gamer, though not appropriate for us in the office. It would also appear that the USB is rated on this model as slightly higher, but it is more expensive, though currently 15% off at the time of this video. However, for the office, this is what we went with, the WY. Let's go get this monitor unboxed. We have the feet for the stand for the monitor itself, a piece of trim for the back of the monitor, a bag full of various items, and ironically the unpacking instructions coming out last. We'll kick things off by assembling this mount to the feet, sliding into the tracks just like this. We'll use the three provided screws, screwing them in one at a time, but not tightening them down until all three screws are in, so just a couple turns. And then finally, once the third one is in, they'll all be snugged down tightly. Pulling back on the packing material, we can see where the mount will lock in. So we're just going to place it forward and then lock downward. Clipping into place, it's now affixed. We found in the bag a USB-C cable, HDMI and DisplayPort cables, legacy to USB-C converter, a power cable, and some cable management parts. We have begun our deconstruction in the office. A lot of cables are collecting on the floor. We'll now bring the new monitor into position and remove the packing material. Starting with the power cable, plugging it into the surge protector. I'll then plug it into the monitor. Plugging everything in from the bottom is kind of a pain in the butt. But we're going to move on to HDMI. Laptop first. There's the work laptop. And I'm going to plug this into HDMI 1, which is also kind of a pain to get under there. I don't know why it doesn't come out the back. Probably for aesthetics. Now I'll plug one of my existing HDMI cables into the back of the Mac Mini. And this will be plugged into HDMI 2 in the right direction. This is the USB cable for the camera, but I had this idea all wrong at the time. I plugged it in one of the USB ports and installed the camera on top of the monitor. I'll do most of this cable management here off camera, but I do want to install this piece, so I'll snap it right into position, and all the cables coming directly off the monitor will go through that plastic piece, which is then supposed to be followed by this plastic shroud, which snaps onto the back of the monitor, making the cables even harder to access than they already are. Now here's the thing, once installed we can see the cables are forced downward instead of out the back of the monitor. And the wife didn't like this, so I ended up removing that shroud so the cables could then be pushed back so we would not see them. Nobody's staring at the back of this monitor anyway. The power button and some other connections are on this side of the monitor, but if you don't know where they are, you may want to take a look. We could see that on the side is 2 USB ports and an audio jack, and right up here is the main control for the monitor. I'll tap that main control to provide power. The monitor now coming on for the first time. A brief monitor control instruction is displayed. This was followed by an initial configuration menu. I'm not making any changes here, so I hit OK. And then HDMI 1 comes up by default. Initially, I receive a warning telling me to use only the supplied input cables, so I say do not remind me again. So I'll have the wife log in, we'll have a look. And I'm now going to order the 3 original windows as 3 side-by-side windows, as only one window is being shown. And no doubt this is a lot nicer than 3 separate monitors. The Logitech mouse supports up to 3 computers. We'll select the Mac below. This is number 1. Same thing for the keyboard. I'll put a link to this mouse keyboard combo below. Pressing the monitor button now, I'll press to the left for input and down to HDMI 2 and push the button once more, taking us over to the Mac. And we can see with this setup, I have mouse keyboard support on the same set, no problem at all. Now logged into the Mac, I could simply make my way back to the Windows PC by pressing the button on the back of the monitor and choosing HDMI 1. So that covers the basic back and forth between the 2 computers on this monitor. Pressing the button to get back in the menu, I go to Settings, I go down to Input, and we'll zoom in here. Now making my way down to Picture by Picture, Picture in Picture, I select it. The first option is essentially off, and then we have half and half, then we have 2/3 and 1/3, and then we have 1/3, 1/3 and 1/3, and then we have picture in picture in different corners of the screen. We're going to select 2/3, 1/3 and try that out. I'll get out of the menu and we can see that the Windows computer takes up 2/3 of the screen over on the left, and the Macintosh takes up 1/3 of the screen over on the right. Right now our mouse and keyboard is set up for the Mac, so we could control it, though I can move to option number 2. And now I have control of the mouse and keyboard on the left side of the screen. If you don't have this, you could in fact have 2 separate mice and keyboards, but it would take up a lot of desk space. I could reverse the setup here by going back to Settings, back to Input, up to Input List, and then I could choose which one was going to take up the predominant amount of space on the screen. I'll flip it over to HDMI 2. And now the Mac takes up 2/3 on the left, the Windows 1/3 on the right. Of course, I could just as easily move it back to how it was, doing the same process in reverse. When it comes back, we'll try some other features. Back into the PBP PIP listing, we'll go and try out a picture-in-picture on the bottom right corner. And we can see now the Mac is in the bottom right corner, overlaid on top of the entire Windows display. As one would expect, as long as you have control of the Mac, it functions as an independent display within the display, picture-in-picture. The size of this display can be adjusted. We can see I've set it to small, and now I'll set it to medium. And now I'll set it back to large. Moving back to my original picture-by-picture settings from before, I'll point out that you can select which sound output you want by going down to Sound Out on the bottom, and then selecting if you want to use the HDMI 1 or 2 for the sound out on the monitor. I'll go to the general settings right quick, where we could see in the top menu option here, I can set the language. So I can set it down to German. For this video, I'll set it back to its original language, English. An automatic standby feature currently off can be set to whichever hours you want to set your monitor to. I would generally have my computers control this. A buzzer, on-screen display lock, as well as deep sleep mode. Now, if you're not concerned about charging devices with the monitor off, you could save extra energy by turning this feature on. I'll set this feature to on. Info is going to provide standard information about the monitor. We could see the resolutions for the main and the sub monitor and their associated refresh rates, as well as the total power time on. Note that the picture menu option is grayed out while in picture-by-picture or picture-in-picture mode. In order to take advantage of those features, you would have to be out of those modes. You can, however, set the brightness or auto brightness, as well as the volume while in those modes. As I shut off picture-by-picture, we can see the picture menu option is enabled, so we'll have a look. And we can see that there are some adjustments. There's basically a matter of personal preference how you want the monitor to look. I'll just set it how we like it. And when plugging in the phone into the USB-C, you'll be prompted with a message that appears on the monitor. It will ask if you want to use the external input that's been connected, and that means viewing the phone through the monitor, which has a limited practical application, but I just wanted to show this. I also get a warning about a screen resolution not being optimal for trying to show telephone on a widescreen monitor, so whatever. I'll use the menu button to switch back to input 1. You'll recall earlier I plugged the camera directly into the monitor, not actually into a computer. Obviously it didn't do anything, and this monitor has limited practical application as a KVM. We ended up only using USB for charging. So not only a better viewing experience, but look at all the junk and cables we've removed in the process. And that concludes this video on the review and configuration of the LG 49-inch widescreen monitor. I hope you found this video enjoyable, entertaining, and informative. Do me a favor, click that like button down below, helps me out a lot when you do, and click that subscribe button for more videos like this when they come out. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Would you like to reply?